Volume up. It's been 2 years since I started this show, and I find myself now in an extremely surreal situation. Almost to the day, actually, August 12th, 2 years ago, 2022. So we're back. Welcome back. Artist Journal, special live edition from Buenos Aires, Argentina. My name's Adrian Pocobelli. And I'm very happy. And I'm very happy to have the Newtro collective here out of Buenos Aires. So a big hand to the Newtro collective, as well as Bulls, who is the founder of Newtro collective, as my co-host today. So we have a very special show here today, Bulls, and I'm very excited for it. And so tell us about Newtro. Tell us about why you started Newtro.
All right, thank you, Adrian. This is super surreal for me too. We have a big crowd here. We have you here in Argentina, in Buenos Aires. You have been, reviewing so much of Argentinian artists' works. So it's super exciting for us to finally be able to meet you in the flesh and doing this crazy stuff with you here. So yeah, thanks to everybody in the crowd. Thanks to you, Adrian, first of all. And yes, I'm Bulls. You have seen me in other Newtro streams. I'm the founder of Newtro. I'm an artist. And yeah, as I mentioned, I founded Newtro in 2022. That's me. Newtro Arts, a collective of Latin American artists and cultural managers. I founded it out of I think it's shared pain among artists. I was studying cinema until the point that you realize it's so hard to live as an artist, to make an income. And in 2022, I found out about NFTs and the blockchain. And I think that was the initial spark, there is really something different in here. And there are new opportunities the blockchain can offer to the artists, especially in Latin America, which today is we will be talking about the Latin American scene in the blockchain. So that was the initial spark, I guess, this shared situation among all artists, this shared question of how I'm going to actually make months ends with my art, and that was one of the reasons of why we founded Newtro, which today is we've been hanging around for so long, making friends, sharing knowledge, just so much stuff, meeting new people. It has been a incredible journey with all of you guys. And to us, again, I cannot reinforce this enough. It's so crazy for us and such an honor to have you here. So thank you again so much, Adrian.
My pleasure.
Come on.
No, it's absolutely thrilling for me to be here. It's the first time in Buenos Aires for me, and it's so amazing to put the faces to the names of these people and everything, and meet the flesh, the human behind the artwork. So the honor and the pleasure is mine. So you started it, and again, I think the blockchain, I was an artist, I started out, and the blockchain really was revolutionary from a market perspective. All of a sudden you could start to make money amazingly, especially from digital art. So it seems like you had this kind of amazing moment where you saw, this is possible to actually, bring in some income with art. So how hard was it for you to start this group? Were people, did you say, hey, to your artist friends, why don't you come check out? How did you actually get people to join, so to speak, this, and how did you form this community?
Yeah, it has been a succession of just lucky events. Actually, how I got to meet, my first contact with NFTs, I was in Chaco. It's a northern province of Argentina. My girlfriend is from there. I was visiting her. Now she is here, but at that moment we were traveling, just to meet each other. And it just happens at that moment, the most successful NFT artist was from Chaco. And I remember just watching a video from Tomás Garcia, another very well-known artist from Argentina and the blockchain, introducing, NFTs. And there was this guy, Sean Frula, this very, again, successful artist from Chaco. I was, oh, whoa, NFTs, like, what is this? I've been mining Ethereum with some friends, but NFTs was just like very recent. And I found out about this guy who was also a Chacanian, and I was in Chaco. And like the very next day, I was driving in a motorcycle with my girlfriend, and in the, just in the highway, we see this huge, like, what's this, like carteles on the highway? Signs, yeah, huge signs in the highway, and it was John's work.
Oh, crazy.
And it was like a revelation, like, and I was like to my girlfriend, like, I just saw this guy work of NFTs and whatnot on my computer screen, and it's like huge version in here, like, what is going on? So it felt like really like destiny, and it just happened by coincidence and luck that I get to know this guy, Sean, and the very first activity Newtro did was to speak about NFTs in the International Bienal of Arts of Chaco. And, I get to meet Sean and just speak about NFTs to the whole crowd. It was like a packed crowd, and just, spreading the word, that was like, I guess, my first intention. Like, again, coming back to this, I guess, shared pain among artists.
Right, yeah.
It's like this needs to be known, And I was speaking with a guy who was like the most successful case in Argentina. So it's like everybody should know about this. And that's how it started. And I had this idea of I really want to do a workshop for onboarding, again, like new artists to the blockchain, because there is real opportunity here. And that was 2022, and in early 2023, I met Lukasox, who's now my co-founder. I met him through this collective of artists, which is called Archain. And I was reading Discord, and I said, like, this guy is like so into it. Like, he's really living this, and I should meet him. And we just started, chatting and talking. And yeah, I think that's like the real moment when everything started with when I met Lukasox and everything he brings with him. So shout out to Lukasox, like, he's right there.
Awesome. So Lukasox was based out of Argentina as well. So it was easy to meet him and make that work. And was there a certain blockchain that you kind of cared about more than others? Like, was it a Tezos thing? Was it Ethereum? A lot of people started with. Like, how did that all work out?
Yeah, actually, I arrived to the blockchain like 1 month after Hen went down. Okay. But they were like, when I get into our chain, they were already there. Like, to me, they felt like, oh, here's like the OG artists. And I started like chatting. I just like wanted to know them. And yeah, of course, there was like a tendency towards Tezos, which makes sense because, right in the previous bull market, minting an NFT in Ethereum layer 1 was super expensive in terms of gas. So of course, most of Latin American artists were using Tezos. And there was like this really nice, vibrant, and humane community of artists in this Archain collective. So yeah, I guess at first it was like, it was not even Newtro, it's like Archain. And it's like, I think this is like well known among artists today. Like most of Latin American artists met in the Tezos blockchain.
Very interesting. And did you have like a first exhibition, I assume? Like, was there a group exhibition? Like, what was the first sort of, coming out party for Newtro as far as from an art perspective?
From an art perspective, that's interesting because like parties we had a lot.
Right. Everybody got to know each other quite well, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, there are a lot of artists who actually lives like pretty nearby in Buenos Aires, and we make barbecues and we all meet. Actually, people from like maybe more like bigger distances, they come here, and in time, that like the balls start to roll, and like they join here. Like for example, we will meet one of them today, like someone from Simulacro coming from far away. But exhibition, it was, in 2023, we've been invited to some like art-related parties, like, hey, bring your stuff here, and it will look like super nice. But it was April 2024 when we first we were able to like do our own exhibition, which briefly we will see some of that.
Okay, awesome.
So
fairly recently.
yeah, fairly recently, exactly.
Yeah.
It's and you know it's a collective of artists. It's not like a super enterprise. It grows like organically. So each new challenge, it comes when it has to come, and that's how also like actually how we like to grow. So yeah, it has been like so far a super exciting ride. So yeah, so Adrian, like for the people like from the Newtro collective and whomever is listening right now who might not know about yourself, like who are you? Like how would you present yourself?
I wonder that question
crowd?
to myself. Yes. It's a question I ask myself every morning.
day,
Bulls.
yeah.
What am I doing? Well, yeah. So I went to university, studied fine arts, and always had the ambition of being an artist. And interestingly, did a lot of, ended up doing a master's in English literature just because I found the concepts were more interesting and it was more brain food, frankly, compared to the art classes, which were kind of not as much brain food, let's just say. And so I did that. And I mean, ultimately I struggled. Like as you said, I love how you describe it as the pain, the shared pain of being an artist, because it's so true. Yeah. I live in Berlin now and I see it all the time. So many people will do their art for nothing, and I was ready to just I was really one of those people who, it didn't matter if I obviously wanted success of, selling my art but it was just like, I felt like I had no choice and I was just going to do it. So struggled, sold paintings here and there. It wasn't moved to Berlin, sold a few paintings, had a few kind of shows at kind of similar to like Newtro, kind of community gallery type things, And so did okay, but I wasn't exactly breaking through. And so the blockchain also for me was a real, with the 2020, 2021 bull market, that historic, financial bull market, got on super rare before everything started blowing up, made some nice sales. And at that point I was kind of convinced, and also digital was so exciting. And and I'd been working digitally on the phone since 2016. So finally, I mean, the big challenge finally when you're making digital artwork was to make it physical, right? And so that you could sell it. Yeah. Right. And so, of course, digital, blockchain, crypto gave a credible way to sell your digital art.
And how did you find, you mentioned you had your little maybe community around, let's say, traditional art market, and then you met the community in the blockchain. How will you compare those two? Where do you feel more at home, maybe?
I would say on the blockchain, particularly among yourselves, you're just regular people.
You should be Argentinian.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I'm half Italian, so in a sense, I'm getting close. But I do really relate. I like the humility, frankly, of people on the blockchain, generally speaking. The contemporary art scene, I'd say my friends in Berlin who are in the art scene are pretty humble people too. When you don't make sales for years, you will become a humble person, right? But overall, as far as the business side of it, once you get into the galleries and everything, it can be a bit more, the pecking order and all this sort of thing. So I like the blockchain. I like how I don't need to please any gallerist. I like the immediate payment.
It's more carefree, maybe
Sorry?
More carefree. You don't have to please this guy to get in.
I don't need to chase after money. If people will finally get a gallery and it's all their dreams come true, and then they're not getting paid from the gallerist. It closes down. It's a terrible business, art. Yeah. And in a sense, art on the blockchain I'd argue, is actually a pretty good business. You may not survive off of it, but you can, if you make nice art, there are opportunities for you on the blockchain. There are people still collecting, and it's credible, so.
It is, yeah. And how, like, so you onboarded the blockchain, you started to mint your stuff, and then at some point you decide I want to communicate about this, I want to make my own show.
Yeah.
And, like, I guess my question will be, like, why? Is this out of pleasure? Do you seek something more? Because, the result of your work is, like, it's impactful. There is not so many people doing this and like communicating about this scene. And to us, very frequently you review works from Latin American artists, and you make all this awesome connection with the tradition of art, which actually this legitimates
Right.
a lot of work people is doing. So what do you find this like?
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, there's a couple of answers in a sense. Like the reason I started doing this artist journal was, I mean, I have to say it was so I didn't die in obscurity. Because you really risk that as an artist. And so that, like, I remember having a talk with a friend, like saying, if you did a YouTube 100 days in a row, do you think you'd be better off? And he was a musician, and we were both like, yeah, you probably. So it was partly that, but then there was a natural news feed that came out of the art. And so it really did become what I call a newspaper of the imagination, where it's just incredible the amount of art that every day that comes out, you can actually make a show out of it. And to me, that was high quality, credible, interesting, fresh art. So yeah, that's basically where it came from. So it's interesting. It's not me being charitable in a sense. Like it's not like I'm trying to, I mean, I'm really happy that people benefit from it, but it wasn't out of some sort of, feeling the need to help the poor sort of thing. It was, I love the art and nobody's talking about this, and it just happens to be Latin American, a lot of it, or Turkey, Argentina and Turkey, as I say, punch above their weight class. So that's kind of
and I guess that's like the best situation. Like one thing you do out of joy because it fills you, but the results of it, the consequences, so to speak, is like beneficial for so many people, or entertaining, and inspiring. And it makes you think, and oh whoa, like it's like, to me it was like when I watch your show, it's like I feel like I'm coming back to like really good classes when I was studying cinema. That gets you excited, and make you thinking about stuff, and it's stimulating. We all love the show. I personally love the show. It's a dream come true for us to have you here. So yeah, amazing being able to chat with you, Adrian.
No, I totally appreciate it. And just finally, it's sort of like the path was clear. There's a very clear path for me to become a professor if I wanted to be.
That's something you wanted at some point?
Well, I didn't want to become a professor because it's another terrible business. It's a terrible business.
We all like non-profitable things.
Yeah, and it's just like, and so it's almost like I get it out of my system. It's like my morning class that I can sort of do my lecture, my little speech, And I felt like I had things to say, so that was part of it too. So anyways, so we have a clip coming up. Why don't you tell us about the clip?
Actually, what gathers here all today. Newtro has been working for a long time on a new collection of digital but also physical pieces, 10 pieces. It's called the LATAM Culture Builders collection. So we will see a little clip about it and then discuss it further.
amazing. So, Bulls, what did we just see in that beautifully produced video of all the? Yeah, tell us about what we just saw.
Yeah, sure. First of all, kudos to the AV team. Another
Yeah, beautiful, beautiful.
Awesome work. Who are now like making this show possible, actually.
Yeah, totally.
With all the nice lighting and the nice venue and everything. Yeah, what we just saw is it was the opening ceremony of a very big event happening in Buenos Aires right now, which is called Aleph Pop-Up City. I'm involved with this. I'm the culture track lead of the Aleph Pop-Up City. And it's basically a month-long event, blockchain-related event. So many projects and startups coming to Buenos Aires related with the blockchain, to conferences, exhibitions like we just saw. Talks of all kinds and everything, like just huge blockchain event. And Newtro, they called us to produce an art installation for this event. And we had this LATAM Culture Builders collection idea that we wanted to do. And it was just like the perfect occasion to, hey, let's just really push something that we really wanted, which was physicals. Because it's I think you mentioned something about this. As a digital artist, you wonder how I am going to display this in a collectible way. Besides the fact that we're already selling this as NFTs, but that's like a whole search. This is just like a LG TV. Like you are used to see the news in there, and the art should be there. Or what can we explore, regarding the devices that display digital art? So for this collection, LATAM Culture Builders, we are right now seeing the pieces of the 10 amazing artists that participated in this collection. We made this physical installation, 10 physicals, and 7 backlights, very nice device, and 3 screens. That we produce alongside some incredible guys that we recently met, actually, just some months ago. It's called BTV. They produce these special screens for, showcasing digital art and all these backlights. And it was like a very nice collaboration between them, among, Newtro and BTV. And the result of it was the collection you just saw. That was the opening ceremony of Aleph Pop-Up City. And then this collection, we moved it to another main venue of the Aleph Pop-Up City, which is Channel 9, Canal 9, Buenos Aires. So it will be there for a month long. You can visit it. You can actually get it's a free ticket to the Aleph Pop-Up City event. You can get your free ticket, go to Hangar 5 in Canal 9, and, just see this collection, which is amazing, Actually, you can meet these pieces, leave a comment in Zora, and we will then raffle the physicals among the comments. Because it's also one of other objectives we have with this is we want to make, in the blockchain, like the idea of, it's been a long time since we are talking about democratizing art. But we're not really democratizing art collecting, I guess. And this, these devices, the backlights and whatnot, they are very affordable ways of collecting art, as even for blockchain artists. Like maybe I really like this piece that my friend made, and I can actually have it. I think, or at least that's a way that we think this ecosystem can grow. Incorporating more artists, we do that through our workshops, but also creating more art collecting, which is, it's inspiring for people, getting, learning about art. There are so many ways to get in touch with art, but collecting, I guess, is one of them. That's what we saw. It was the opening ceremony of Aleph. We are super proud of this collection. It has been a lot of work, a lot of passion going into that. So happy to be able to share it with the world now. And for a month long, you will be able to see that. And then hopefully some of you, I guess, will get it to your homes and you can hang it in your wall. That's something you would like to hang, in your wall, any of the pieces, maybe.
Right. So you get the light box with
you can get it, to your house. Yeah.
Yeah, that's super cool. I saw the show. I was totally impressed with the idea of making a light box and then putting it. It looked beautiful.
It looks beautiful.
So yeah, I highly recommend that. That was Hangar 5.
Hangar 5, yeah.
In the part of the LF pop-up city. Yeah, so incredible. So there's a bit of a, now, one of the things we haven't discussed is how this is it's very Latin American, what you're doing. And I assume that was part of the, of course, there's this massive conference that's happening in Buenos Aires, Argentina being a major kind of crypto-friendly country, shall we say. So you have this show. Tell us about the Latin American angle. Like that is a bit of a theme of this show.
It is actually, yeah. Yes, I mentioned before, this is not like a new conversation. Like in trad art, in the traditional art market, this has been discussed already a lot. Like being a Latin American artist is not the same as being a, from European artists or whatever.
United States, whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, we have like a specific set of conditions. When you think about the blockchain, it's maybe this is like the reality of the Latin American artists, I guess. Like maybe for a North American artist making like a $300, $400, whatever income through NFTs, it's hard to live on that. But for Latin American artists, that was like a huge change. Like many of us, we were like, I don't know, freelancing as designers. I was freelancing as a post-producer. I studied cinema. And suddenly being able to say, hey, I sold this thing that I made with Photoshop and After Effects or whatever, or Illustrator, whatever, and I'm receiving like money for this, that was a game changer. And that also explains why there has been so many Latin American artists onboarding the blockchain, especially, considering Tesos and then how the layer 2 and layer 3, now there are like so many layers today, but with the reduce of the gas prices, it really has an impact. So it's LATAM Culture Builders, first of all, because the LATAM scene is very powerful and strong in the blockchain, and Cultural Builders because the blockchain can be like very focused in the tech development, which is awesome, and we all love the tech. But we also see the tech as it's a tool, it's a mean to an end.
Right.
And the culture, in this case art, it's what gives actual value to this. Like how are we using this technology? And sometimes, and especially again coming back to this context of Latin America. That can be, what's the word? Like ignored maybe, and not recognized enough. Like, hey, we are producing all this value, and maybe the blockchain is more focused on who's developing, the technology, which is awesome again. And it's actually, one of the issues you could say that the art scene on the blockchain has is like there is a certain disconnection between developers and the actual artist scene needs. So suddenly you find yourself with marketplaces or tools that are like, why is this designed this way? And who is this trying to, what's this fixing,
Right.
And there is like this disconnection, I guess. So it's like a reivindication of like, hey, we are here producing value. And also, hey, we are here, like we are just a DM away, like let's, hang with each other and make better dApps, better tools, I guess, and get to know like make this like really vibrant scene like get to more people, I guess.
Yeah, it's digital art is a real world application of the blockchain. I mean, I always say there's like remittance, like money transfer basically, and then there's basically digital art, which I'd call like maybe buying and selling digital objects, the digital marketplace, but there's not too many things being bought and sold other than art. So, yeah.
I really like this idea that there is not a human group on the blockchain that's producing something and actually selling it through the blockchain. Artists are the only ones. I produce this and I sell my production through the blockchain. I think it's the only group.
It's hard to think of others. Like
Yeah.
there must be an exception out there, but
So it's an incredible
yeah.
use case that should be like, I guess, further studied.
Well,
or at
you-
least that's my POV, you know?
Yeah, like you think it's very cool that they bring it in, so there is a recognition of it, but it's almost like, yeah, sometimes I wonder if it's really getting the attention it deserves to a certain degree. I wonder that to myself, considering it is, other than money transfer, which is a very clear, real use case, there's not too many other, places where you feel you need crypto. But to buy and sell digital art, before it was like USBs and certificates of authenticity. I mean, that doesn't feel very credible. It's a credible way of selling your art, digital art. So all to
And
your point.
you have all the provenance. Like one thing I really like about the show is your show. It really see you interpret the history, for example, of NFTs. It's like, whoa, that's so cool. Like, and you can see, who bought this?
Yeah.
And you can get to know that way, like the whole scene.
Yeah.
So these guys are collectors. And artists are actually collecting other artists. And that's something I actually learned through, like, watching the show. You can get a really good sense of what's going on with the scene through your show.
I'm really glad to hear that. And what's so interesting, I mean, Object was saying that a lot of people are actually coming on to Tezos right now, like new people. And I wonder, like for people that just stumble upon, say, the show and they go, like, it's kind of exciting when you see all these artists and it's not like 5 people. It's maybe 500 people who are kind of all in this ecosystem, buying, selling, creating, transferring, gifting,
And I think like something different that this scene has is like you have 500 people or maybe more, like, and from everybody's using so like different techniques and tools, and because usually in trad art you maybe have like this set of people who works with this technique or whatever.
Totally.
So the flow of information and knowledge is like, suddenly you see, I really like this artist. I wonder how he produces what he's producing, and that makes you, I really want to try that software maybe.
Totally.
I think that's super cool. I actually also in the collective I have seen like I want to try actually like some physical, like I have always been a digital artist, but now I'm doing pottery because I have this experience. I don't know, maybe Bosque Gracias artist residency, and we did some amazing pottery, and now you're doing pottery.
Yeah.
So it's enriching also for like in a human level, I guess. Like you are expanding your own self through all these connections the blockchain has made among us, I guess.
And I find it very exciting, finally, where we see people who start digitally and then they start making physical works. And I find that incredibly exciting as an artist and just as a culture, someone looking at the culture of art. And because then all of a sudden, it's changing the order of things. So anyways.
Actually, you have like, I don't know if it's like in the shot, but look at this.
Right. I mean, there's Sulkian's 3D printed artwork there.
Now he's like super happy with this, like with his new 3D printer.
Where's Sulkian? Yeah, there he is.
there.
Yeah, awesome artist. So yes. So where are we next? I guess there's the mint, or
We have a little short video, and the next section will be interviews with artists.
okay, awesome.
Initiating correlated states. What happens when art intertwines? Like the particles of a quantum phenomenon, creativity has no boundaries. Welcome to Correlated States, an exhibition celebrating the union and collaboration between creative minds in the real world. When particles become entangled, their properties connect, regardless of the distance separating them. This becomes evident when our actions impact on somebody else's work. The lines between the physical and the virtual are blurred. These are very intimate processes. that is best to be taken with no judgment at all. Let the artwork be. That is the job. Each artwork is a node in a network, connected by creativity and innovation. In this digital landscape, pixels and reality combine to create fascinating experiences.
All right. Hello, back again.
We're back. Another awesome video by the amazing AV people here. So tell us, what's next, and tell us about, I guess there were sponsors.
So we want to thank all our supporters, especially for this LATAM Culture Builders collection. Zora, that's the marketplace where we are minting this. They have been supporting Newtro for so long now. So shout out to Zora, thank you so much. We have to mention, of course, Aleph, Pop-Up City by Crecimiento. This collection, all these amazing physicals, it's a reality thanks to them. So again, you can visit this Pop-Up City event for the whole month of August here in Buenos Aires, Argentina. Crecimiento really wants to make like Argentina like a crypto hub of the world. So yeah, don't miss, this collection there. And we also want to thank BTV, once again, the guys who actually fabricated these backlights and these amazing LED screens. It has been, again, so easy to work with them. They work with so much passion. They believe so much in what they are doing. So big shout out to BTV guys. Vladimir and Fran, thank you so much. You're amazing. So yeah, that was like something we really needed to mention. Thanks to everybody who's supporting this project. So yeah, I guess now we can go to like the tasty part of all of this.
Very exciting. We're going to do something special. We're going to talk to some of the artists in this drop you guys did. And so I guess we'll start with...
This is exciting. This is like a clash of galaxies.
Yeah. Should we go through the pieces, or should we? Okay, so we'll start here. So this is Santiago. I'll try not to trigger. So Santiago Neymrqz.
Again, Clash of Galaxies.
We'll just get the image loaded up here.
But we will be able to see the piece. I think, Santi.
Yeah, Santi,
you can come in.
Come join us on stage. Amazing.
Thank you so much, Santi.
A huge personality here in the digital world. And so, did I turn this? Is this working? Yes. Okay, awesome. So, Santiago, it's awesome to have you here. How are you doing?
I'm great.
Good. So you're coming in from Uruguay, right? Yeah. So tell us. And so I mean, you have such an interesting history. You used to be a poet, or you used to do a lot of poetry, at least.
That's true.
Yeah. So.
I was today earlier and Thursday and yesterday.
Thank you.
I was in some books stuff with my friends from that world, so I could see things about my past here. I lived in the city as a, punk poet. Maybe
Awesome.
not that punk, but yeah.
Yeah, cool. And so when did you start making art then? Like, I guess you started with poetry, and then were you already making visual art? Like, you're one of the most prolific people on the blockchain. There we go. You're one of the most prolific people on the blockchain. When did you start getting kind of serious about making art? And was it before blockchain?
Yeah, so I was always drawing as a kid, and it came and go. And I think in the year 2011, I started drawing nonstop. I was writing poetry and making these visual poetry pieces inside little scenes, fanzines.
Cool. Visual poetry.
Yeah, yeah. So it was like less and less words. It kind of evolved to just drawings. It started being poems where I made use of the space in the page.
Right, right.
And it started kind of melting or falling into just drawing.
Wild. That is so wild.
Yeah, it was great.
And so that sounds like you're working physically, right? Like you're probably writing down the poems and then drawing, like, or was that digital? I mean,
I was drawing nonstop with just a ball pen. Like
right, so with a physical object, it wasn't digital.
I was also living at a friend's that has a little publishing house.
Okay.
So I used to scan this stuff and take it to Corel X3. It's like
Corel, yeah. Which is like was that a painting program or?
It's a vectors program.
Vector, got it.
It was thrown away from the market by Illustrator, like very early.
Right, like it was sort of, right,
Yeah.
I remember actually.
So my friend used this tool to build the books covers.
Okay.
And I started using it. And actually, I had a history with Corel since I was a kid.
Yeah, it used to be Adobe's main competition, if I remember right? Like, I mean, back in the day, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and go ahead.
I used to move the nodes in vector images and play with that as a kid, like 10 years old at my dad's office. And it came back when I was like 24, 25 years old. And now it came back by finding Inkscape, which is FOSS.
Right, and is Inkscape, is that a free software?
Yeah, it's free and open source.
And that's like, we've talked before in a Twitter space, like that's important for you, right, or not? Like,
it's kind of.
Does it matter?
Yeah, it does. I'm like politically aligned to free and open source stuff. The open source part will work for smarter people than me. I can't do anything with the code, but I like that it's free and to know it's open for developers that like FOSS software. It's a good feeling.
Okay, awesome. And so tell us then about your current work, or like the work that you've been doing, say, in the last 3 or 4 years. Like, what are you trying to do here, Santiago?
Yeah. So my research have been becoming more intense about the body and the nerves against the visual side of drawing and painting.
Interesting.
Which is something you can't easily think of integrate to digital art, right? Because it's more visual and
disembodied sort of thing.
Yeah,
right.
yeah. So there's a period before finding NFTs in which I was studying the science of dairy in the place I live.
The science of dairy.
Dairy, yeah.
Like milk.
Milk and yogurt.
Okay, yeah, okay. Just to understand, I'm still with you. Okay,
yeah.
Continue. Yeah.
So I got some knowledge of biochemistry, I guess, and I studied maths after many years of having not, because I was like in more social science side when I finished high school. and I was drawing on the side. I always needed to paint, but it was like a side activity for me while I studied this 4-year career to try to work in a factory and have a better position than just going inside the factory.
Right, and so this research then in biochemistry
And social research too, right? Because I met people that were in an industry.
Right. So how did that? So how does that connect to your art? I assume it does.
It does. People that are in an activity have often ways of perceiving and conceiving reality. Like we have a common background, whatever we do and think, and people that are producing food and making science about food have their common ground too.
Okay, excellent. And we should talk about your piece here in the show, Santiago. So tell us about the piece. There we go. So tell us about the work that we're looking at here.
So this work is called Surface Builders. And I guess surfaces, as I mentioned before, the physicality of things to me has I give some relevance to the fact that you have to make stop the eye to be able to see something, right? When I see something, nature and physics decided I won't see what's behind that, right? Mm-hmm. And I guess the obstacles that surfaces are is this kind of a gift made by an impossibility, right? A limitation.
Fascinating. And so now would you consider these, would you consider these abstract works?
Yeah, they are abstract works, absolutely. But I think I have worked for many years, let's say 15, possibly, with a couple of concepts, like the one I went through, and there's no core story to any of them, mm-hmm. and it's maybe a long conversation about some concepts like that one, or the concept of let's say if you put in horizontal piece of art, you have an X axis and a Y. There's this Z axis, which would be Y, right?
Sure, like the third dimension sort of thing, right?
So that third dimension is conceptually it's built as an illusion in Renaissance art and perspective, mm-hmm. but there's just very simple conceptual things that can make that happen without classic perspective working, like having something clearly in front of other thing, right? And I guess this axis is connected somehow to time, in a way. It's like the things you will see later if you were walking, for example. This collection of concepts or little conceptual games are parallel to the growth of my singular pieces.
Well, I'm just a huge fan of everything I've seen, and it's just beautiful and so original and so digital at the same time. So, Santiago, thank you for joining us here and sharing your work.
I guess I have one last question for you, Santi. We recently just had lunch, and you handed me and Adrian like this I don't want to say fake money. I wonder, is this like
Secret money.
It's secret money. Is
Yeah.
this like a secret ticket also for NFT Uruguay?
This is the.
I think the community wants to know this.
Yes.
Like everybody wants to know this.
I think that this money grows in us in many ways, and as my works of art are free for everyone to see, one guy goes and throws an amount of money
See
on
that.
them. This money is forever to print. I have the PDF by Meg, and everyone is invited to NFT Uruguay. And it's happening all the time.
It's happening all the time. Like
Yeah.
it's like reality.
It never ends.
Maybe reality
It
is
is.
NFT Uruguay.
Thanks,
Okay,
guys.
thank you so
Thank
much.
you, Santiago. Awesome.
Thank you so much.
So wonderful. So shall we continue looking at the show here? Okay, so let me just see here and see if we can get that minimized.
Okay, so we have very soon our next guests, interviewee from this LATAM Culture Builders collection. So it's Quilla Nina joining us. Please, big round of applause to Quilla.
Quilla, welcome to the show. Who made this beautiful work here? Hi, Quilla.
Thank you. Hi.
Great to have you. And there is your microphone.
translating if needed.
Yeah, fantastic. So, Quilla, now I first learned of your work as it was physical paintings, I believe acrylic and oil?
Yes, acrylic and oil.
Yeah, and you'd put some physical sort of, sometimes you'd put little stars.
Sequins like lentejuelas. Sequins, I think it's called. I
Yeah,
don't know.
sequins.
Sequins.
Yes, I was trying to remember the word. Hilarious. So anyway, so tell us, how did you get started in art, and what kind of drives you to make art?
I started with art in college. I studied art at university, and I did from 2008 to 2013. So I began painting with acrylic and oil. I mixed techniques because I liked the volume with oil, but also the vibrant colors of acrylic. Mm-hmm. And I always felt connected to my father's culture, Quichua culture, that the textiles are like neon and a lot of colors. Mm-hmm. So that's why I started with painting with acrylic, because there was like these fluorescent colors. And I started with NFTs in, I think, 2022. Mm-hmm. I did everything by myself. I didn't know any of art chain or anything, but I heard about them, and I decided, well, if lots of people are learning to do it themselves, I can learn it too. So I started watching YouTube tutorials, and I made myself a Twitter, and then I started following many of the people that are here now, and I asked this Ludmila Pandolfo, I asked her, like, how can I buy crypto? Because I wanted to mint in pesos, but I didn't know anything about this. And she introduced me to our chain, and then I learned everything. I started minting, and it had like a really good reception. I made my first collection with paintings I already had, and I added details with Photoshop, so it was like analog paintings, but also altered and edited with Photoshop. And well, then I started like that.
Yeah, no, very cool. And it seems like your work, there does seem to be almost as you're talking about the color, there is like a traditional vibe, shall we say, to a lot of your work.
Yes.
It reminds me of a lot of the kind of, almost a little bit like the ayahuasca artists, or like, art from that region of the world. Like maybe Peru. Where are you from? Peru and Argentina?
I was born here. My father is from Arequipa, Peru. My grandparents are from Cusco. So, well, that's the connection to Andean culture comes from my father's side.
Great, and talk about that. So I guess it's important for you. I guess it had a big influence on you. Like,
Yes.
And was it folk artists? Like, who influenced you in a sense, or what kind of art influenced you?
Folk art from Peru, and it's not painting but textiles. They made and like in clothes, in sweaters, backpacks. So lots of my influence comes from there, from textiles. And also, yes, I know that art we're talking about, like visionary art, not so much. Like I like the colors, but it's not like my main influence. Maybe
Right.
like it's like Amazonian culture. It's not
Right.
like exactly the same like Andean culture.
Interesting. So yeah, you'd almost make the distinction between Amazonian
Yes,
and Andean culture.
they're very different.
Yeah, no, it's super fascinating. And tell us about the work that we have here, this beautiful, beautiful work. I just love how you worked what looks like the old hen logo into the clothing. Is that right?
Yes, yes.
Or was that just a random? Yeah, no, it's. I was thinking that could be a
yes,
real clothing. Like you could sell that. But sorry, tell us about the work.
Yeah, the theme is traditional. I mean, the concept was culture builders from Latin America, so the theme is traditional, about indigenous traditional cultures from Latin America. But the medium I used is like very important because obviously my medium is not traditional, indigenous traditional. It's like comes from Western culture, like acrylic canvas.
Sure.
Because I grew up here in the city. In this piece, I tried to mix digital art with also traditional painting and also AI, like it's the last experiments I've been making with AI, artificial intelligence. So I used painting in the plants, like there are quinoa plants and also potato plants that are very important for the Andean culture. And well, my father always talked to me about how my grandmother made them foods with these plants that were considered like food from indigenous people, like not seen as important, especially quinoa. But she knew the importance of these seeds. Now they are like we see this quinoa in every store, vegan stores and everything. But at that time, it was like it was bad seen to eat those seeds. And also I used that part it's analog painting, and then I used digital painting for the rest of the landscape. I used DALL-E 2 in the mountains. Wow. Because I started experimenting with AI with DALL-E 2, and I kept a lot of images that I did with DALL-E 2. Now you can no longer use DALL-E 2 now, but I kept all these images. And the girl is made with DALL-E 3, and then painted on top. Like the hen, AI is like obsessed with Adidas. So when I asked for sport clothes, they always made me like the stripes from Adidas. So I erased that and I placed the hen logo, and also the moon with the fire, because that's my name from Web3 is Quilla Nina, that means moon and fire in Quechua.
Gotcha.
And well, so that's much about the painting.
And just finally, like you have sort of kind of mystical kind of elements. Like it almost reminds me of tarot cards a little bit to a certain degree. Like you have all of this, like where here we'll see like the moon, the sun, almost these alchemical. You have plants. Talk about the symbolism a bit. Like why are you painting? I guess, does it go back to the Andean sort of
roots?
Like
I realized that I always paint like the sky and the land, and that's related to Andean culture actually, because of the three. I don't know if I can say this in English, but like the three planos de existencia, like.
Yeah, three like.
Yes.
Hypostases in Neoplatonic.
So,
the three levels of reality.
Yeah, like the sky is the realm of the moon and the sun, and also the land, like where humans live, and the animals that symbolize this the earth realm are like the jaguar, and where humans live, and also the underworld. Like, I don't know if they called it like underworld. Is
Sure.
symbolized by snakes, maybe, and fish also. So in this piece, I'm realizing this now, that I can see the three, because I would think of two realms, like earth and sky, but water is connected to the underworld.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's perfect.
So we see the three realms there. And well, the plants also are connected with the seeds and the concept of growing, like you build a garden, you build a culture. So that's why, that's the symbolism behind it. And well, that's much about it.
Yeah, and I mean, just on a technical level, it's a very interesting use of AI. It's very integrated into the work, and also with the acrylic. Where's the acrylic in this painting, just out of curiosity? Or can we
the
still...
plants, like the quinoa plants and the potato plants.
Those are like physical, so you're really
Yes.
combining
Yes.
like everything. And
Like a digital collage,
Yeah, and so now, why are you doing that in a sense? Is it ultimately because you like the visual effect? I mean, why did you decide to, say, combine all these different mediums?
I mean, the physical part of the painting, it's because really it's practical, and also because I like to combine it, because, sometimes I want to make a quinoa plant, and I think I paint better like by hand than digital. So sometimes I take parts of my physical paintings and I integrate it in my digital paintings. I started painting digital not because I chose to do that, but also because of my life circumstances. Like when I became a mom, it became really difficult to paint like I've been painting when I was in my 20s, because my children always came there and interrupted me, and I had to put everything away, and oh, finally she's sleeping, so I will start painting. And you prepare the color, you prepare everything, and then comes the girl, my toddler, and wants to touch everything. So I only painted like 15 minutes, or I realized that I wanted to paint, and I felt really frustrated, because I felt pressured, I have to do it now. I have 1 free hour, I have to do it now. And I was with so much pressure that I was no longer enjoying it. So I decided to start trying digital painting, because if something happened, I knew I could just put a tablet away, and that's that. Or if I had half an hour, I only had to turn on the tablet and I could paint. It was really easy to do the transition from life to painting, but much more fluent. So that's why I started with digital painting and with AI too.
Yeah, no, fascinating. And just final question here then. So where do you want to, what's next? Do you have a body of work that you're working on? Do you have a show you're putting together? What do you want to do?
I'm not planning much shows now. I'm really, my life is pretty much about my children now, and my family and my husband and everything. I still create, of course. I'm going back to physical painting now, in small canvases, trying to bit by bit. Now my youngest is 1 year, so now it's a time I find myself I can go back to painting. But I do not have any plans. I'm really
to make a
focused
painting.
on my workshops, and I'm focused on just doing what I can, basically.
Yeah, no, that's great. Well, thank you, Quilla. Just a beautiful work. I mean, it's and when you describe it with all of these different mediums in it, it gives it almost this magical. Your work always has kind of a, I almost want to say totemic or kind of magical feel to it.
Thank you.
Anyways, thank you for joining us here,
Thank you.
and very cool. Excellent. And so shall we continue our journey through the show here?
Lucky for me, I was not in the need of doing any translation, so.
Yeah,
I'm
exactly. No translation required. And for our final guest. We have Simulacro. Welcome. Should we call you Simulacro, or what? How should we?
I wanted to preface this by saying that I'm here to represent Simulacro because I'm just a 1/6 of the collective, and I also wanted to thank you, Adrian, for being an intelligent member of the community.
I try my hardest at that. Yeah.
I'm kind of starstruck right now, so I'm sorry.
Hilarious.
But yeah, I'm 1/6 of Simulacro. We're 6 artists. We're a collective from the north of Argentina, and we're 6 friends. We're 6 artist friends who like to make work together, and we're trying to, by working together, kind of challenge like these notions of authorship. Like you have to be an individual person to make art, and that's it was a really difficult decision for us today, because we're like in the group chat we're like, are we gonna show our faces, because we don't usually show our faces. It's like a very grounds you in a very individual position to have a face, and it's like it was like a very hard decision.
I was going to say, a big decision whether to reveal your anonymity to a certain degree, right?
But it was, I think we did it in the name of connection, because I think that this, we were talking earlier about this, about the importance of having a face, and how having a face is really key in the connection part of the world.
Can I just jumping in, like one little question, because I think something very interesting you mentioned, like you yourself, or all you of 6 you guys as a collective, and the idea of authorship regarding that fact. And I'm seeing like you have like this bag. Like it's actually like, does it like designs from original like native communities? Because it really looks like.
Let me show. Is the bag showing?
Yeah, it's the bag showing moment. It's from native communities.
It's from an indigenous community called the Wichi people that live in the north of the Salta province. That's next to Bolivia, and they weave these amazing ancestral patterns.
Because one thing we learned very recently in a trip we did to the north of the country was like this notion of like, it was so interesting how we saw all these beautiful sculptures by native communities, and it was like, and who did this? Yeah, it was like me, but also my mother, but also my sister. It was like a family thing, authorship. And it was like, just like, it made sense to me, like,
exactly.
You're wearing this bag.
And there's a huge problem with this shared authorship.
Yeah.
And when you think about it in terms of value, because it's collective and because it's not tied to a single person, sometimes this loses value. And it's like, it's challenging work because it's so tied. We're so like programmed with individuality.
And do you think about like how because actually in a way it's like it adds more value. So how do we showcase the fact that, hey, we are a collective, we are 6 people all working together to make all of this happen, like what we are seeing right now?
Oh, do you want to talk about the work?
Yeah, no, definitely.
I would love to know what you think about the work.
Well, let's see. Can we put the work on the screen here so everybody can see? There we go. Well, yeah, I mean, your work is always so interesting. It always, because I've only sort of seen it, I think, in the last 6 months or so, is right when you guys started minting. In a sense, you're kind of relatively recent as a group minting on the blockchain, right?
Very new.
A lot of what seems like surveillance camera or facial recognition, kind of, for lack of a better term, iconography, graphics, and then, but always in these kind of interesting, what look like kind of landscapes in, frankly, it kind of looks like Argentina, somewhere in South America.
Basically.
Right, and with these kind of very kind of arty, like it's always work that looks like could go into a contemporary art gallery, right? Kind of mysterious, almost a touch obscure. So anyway, so these are my
but I think
thoughts. But what do you think? Yeah,
I think then you hit the nail on the head with everything that you said, especially about the South American thing. You know, we're really trying to think about a performance art, which is this way of thinking about art with the body as the medium. And, you know, we prepare ourselves, we rehearse these actions, we think about them, and then we go into this territory because the thing is, where we live, from the city that we live from, if you look at the horizon line, you'll see a big mountain. And this mountain is teeming with life and the rainforest and everything. And, you know, we're trying to think of our bodies as part of that territory. And, you know, if we're part of the territory, then how are we going to engage with it? What's our relationship with it? And, you know, about the name Simulacro, it comes from this Baudelaire text called The Perfect Crime, where he was like saying, oh, there's an excess of reality in our images. He calls this like the hyper-real images, an image that can represent anything, even death, you know, perfectly. And we're trying as a group to think about, you know, leaving those empty blank spaces for things that maybe can't fit in the images, such as social ties. If you ask an AI to draw you like intimate ties, I mean, it'll spit out something,
right?
But I don't know about the meaning of it, you know. And so we were really worried about those kind of images, and about this particular work, which is called On Gravity, we were thinking about the importance of our bodies, and in this particular action that we're holding this fabric, and then, you know, every work has its own system. And in this work, there's like a sudden shift where our bodies disappear, and there's a shift into like a virtual space where the fabric is just floating in space aimlessly. So it kind of needs our bodies to be embedded with the meaning.
Yeah, it's very interesting, and it's a very, in a sense, for an art video, in a sense, it's fairly short. Like, to talk about the length of the videos, like how important is that to you? Do you vary the length, or do you try and keep them shorter? Like, talk about that.
That's a really good question, because most of the time it's about having I think we like to keep them short because we like having like a sustainable practice. We're all about the work that we're making and what we're earning from the sales of the work. We use to keep on being able to travel, to being able to work in creating these images. And sometimes, you know, we have to keep them short to be able to be sustainable, because that's the number one priority in our works, is to make them sustainable.
Yeah, and I love short videos in a sense, like, and you know, you kind of get your point across, and we don't need to dwell on it for 20 minutes of whatever point might be being made.
It's also thinking about the spectator, you know, like.
Yeah, I find it's very considerate, you know, and they're beautiful, you know, and it's really interesting. You mentioned Baudelaire with Perfect Crime, right? Where it's like where reality is kind of like, I guess murdered in that perfect crime. So that's obviously, I guess that's where the name Simulacro, I assume, is kind of derived from a little bit.
Yeah, because that's the way it's simulacrum. That's one of the ways to explain a simulacrum, you know, into this hyperreal images that they're like a meta system in itself. Sorry if I'm being too complicated.
No, go for it. Try me.
We do try to, because of we accompany every piece with a text, And
Oh, really? Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
You should.
I didn't realize that. So the text is a part of the work in a sense.
Definitely.
It's not just a description text.
It is not.
It's not filler.
It's not filled by any means.
Interesting. Interesting.
We're always trying through the text. It's like maybe a little bit like of a pedagogy thing going on there, but we're always trying to maybe, because the work sometimes might feel a bit confusing, or maybe too intricate through the text. We're like, it's like a lifesaver sometimes, like the text on a museum, where you go to the place where you go to when you need help.
Right. Awesome. So you've gotten this great start, it seems, in the last few months. I guess, so I want to ask you where it's going, but before we ask, I'm just curious, in terms of, as far as process, are you kind of focused on one or two or just a few certain softwares, or do you kind of have an open mind about how you go about it every time and say, oh, what are we going to do this time? I mean, it's 6 people, like you were saying.
6 people.
So how do you kind of approach making a new work, I guess, is what I'm trying to say.
Well, that's a really good question. Because we're 6 people, at the beginning, we're like, oh, everyone makes a little bit of everything, but, in terms of organization, that doesn't really work. And so we really try to think about our strengths. And some people, when you talk with us, we chat with us on Twitter, there's 2 of us, that are on Twitter, and then we have a team that do the post-production, and then I work with the texts. And it's it's a very communal work that we do. But we do think about every piece together. And we sort of make a collection of actions and tasks. And then we like to travel and resolve those in person, because these aren't AI generated, by the way. I just wanted to say, we
Yeah, I was kind of going with that, or almost going there with different process or different softwares and everything. So there's no AI in here, for example.
Not right now, but we do use the Adobe suite, and then a bit of Touch Designer and some Blender in some cases.
So exporting between softwares and
yeah. It's like playing to every member's strength.
excellent. And I guess just finally, where do you guys want to go? Are you going to make, what's next in a sense? What's on the horizon here?
We just published our newest collection, which is called At Dusk. We're asking ourselves, because we're really critical about our work also. This connection with nature is very romanticized sometimes. And all of our collections had daylight in them. And we're like, let's try doing it at night and see what happens.
Interesting. Yeah, that sounds challenging. Just from a technical point of view, that sounds like.
And so that's what's next. And we're all about a sustainable practice. Being able to keep making work. That's our first objective, and connection also.
Yeah, amazing. Well, thank you for joining us. That was
Thank you.
very cool. Simulacro. So excellent. And so I guess we'll just wrap up. We'll go through the rest of the works here we have the brilliant Cap'n, and we'll just get that on the screen here. Huge fan out of Costa Rica, I believe here. Yeah. And so here is Cap. There we go. And yeah, so I mean, here, maybe we can even zoom in here. So Cap'n out of Costa Rica with this gorgeous work. I think we started our show with this. Have you met Cap'n in person?
No, not in person. I would love to.
Yeah.
I love what he does.
Yeah, huge fan.
It's so crazy to be doing this right next to you.
We could make it a permanent situation.
Yeah,
here,
like
Bulls.
reviewing here.
Yeah, hilarious.
That just looks like so much work put into these like devices, like he creates all these interfaces. Just looks so good.
Yeah, I love the two-dimensional just kind of feel to it too. And here we have Estelle Flores. Awesome. So yeah, very interesting work. Looks like a Google search thing going on here. Interesting.
Yeah, really like very internet piece, and I like the fact like it has his how to build a house.
Okay.
And I feel like the whole collection or many of the pieces of the collection, or maybe it's like a Latin American thing about like home, like your place of where do you belong. So I really now it says how to make a cheap wall.
No, hilarious.
So I think it really speaks to the LATAM.
Totally, yeah. No, beautiful, and yeah, just such an interesting artist, and I love the Google.
Yeah, she's amazing, still Flores.
Oh, and we don't have that. Okay, so and here is Mental Noise, who always seems to have this kind of rabbit character. These beautiful digital paintings, and it's almost like they're always like in almost it looks like a sanitarium or something.
It feels like to me it feels like like inner landscapes of Mental Noise, I guess.
Brilliant.
This alter ego she has.
Oh, it's a she.
It's a she, yeah, actually. Okay. Oh, am I spoiling something?
Yeah.
Sorry, Mental, if I'm spoiling.
Yeah, no, good to know. And is out of Latin America as well? Or?
Yeah, she's from Colombia.
Okay, cool. No, very cool work here. And also Sulkian, and Sulkian's in the audience here.
He's here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, they come here. Like, and also Mote is here too. He's from the collection. Like maybe.
Yeah. So awesome.
So he's Sulkian.
Yeah. So can we see Sulkian on the camera here? So anyway, so Sulkian, how's it going?
Yeah, man.
He's doing well.
Yeah, awesome. And
we've been hanging a lot with Sulkian lately. He traveled with us to the north, like doing some cool stuff there too.
Yeah, like Sulkian's work, actually one of the earliest artists I collected actually on Object, because he had this great synthesizer series in the jungle and everything and plants.
Bueno, sabiendo eso, te traje un regalo.
Knowing that, he says he has a gift for you.
Oh,
actually.
We have a surprise. We have a surprise here.
For Adrian from Sulkian.
Ooh, I'm kind of excited about it. Wow! Wow! Look at that. That is so cool. It's a synthesizer. Oh my God, it's like a 3D Sulkian work. Fantastic. My physical art collection keeps growing here. Thank you. Thank you. Wow.
You're welcome, he says. Yeah.
Fantastic. So what are you working on now, Sulkian? I mean,
Ahora estoy bastante obsesionado con la inteligencia artificial.
He says he's obsessed with AI.
Entrenando modelos, reentrenando,
training models
de todos lados para aplicar a mis estilos. Tengo modelos entrenados con todo lo que hice, tengo modelos entrenados con cosas que me gustan, tengo modelos entrenados con cualquier cosa que me va interesando, un poco como ser DJ de imagen, quizás, y empezar a mezclar los conceptos y después volver a entrenar y llevarlo quizás al 3D, como siempre un ida y vuelta entre diferentes tecnologías, Photoshop, Blender, After Effects, Stable Diffusion.
Okay, so he says he's training a lot of models, like everything from his aesthetics, but also like anything he likes on the internet. He's like training models with everything, and then he mixes that. He mentions like for him it's like being a DJ, but with AI and aesthetics, and then mixing everything together with Blender, 3D, After Effects, and other techniques.
Yeah. Amazing. And because I remember you also put together like was it a FX Hash series with yeah, sizers. Yeah, I
So good.
I think it was the only effects hash. Yeah, it was the only effects hash series I think I ever was like I have to have, and I wanted more and more.
Now you have a physical of that.
Yeah, I mean,
how cool is that?
Unbelievable. So working with AI is the latest thing, and what's coming up? Are you? Do you have a series that you're working on right now? Is there something you're going to put out soon?
¿Hay algo en lo que estés trabajando ahora, que vayas a sacar próximamente? ¿En qué andas laburando?
Estoy trabajando en varias cosas en simultáneo. Tengo pensado volver a sacar una colección de sintetizadores.
He wants to go back to synthesizers. He's doing a lot of things, but among all of those synthesizers.
Y siempre diferentes colecciones, voy con diferentes búsquedas de paisajes, de objetos.
Landscapes, objects, many
tapas
different searches.
de álbum de música electrónica o
Album
mezclar
covers.
todos esos mundos y también esperando a ver que vayan avanzando las nuevas tecnologías, a ver qué se puede hacer con eso,
Yeah,
cómo las puedo utilizar.
he's waiting for new technologies to keep advancing and developing so he can get his hands on it and just keep learning new things to do with it.
Yeah, and for AI, what are you using to train AI? Is it like would you use Midjourney or just what are you? How are you?
Diffusion.
You're using. Talk about.
O sea,
Te traduzco.
sí. No, estoy usando Stable Diffusion y para entrenar también lo hago desde la página de Civitai.
CVTI?
Civitai.
He uses CVTI webpage to train the models in Stable Diffusion.
Sí, XR.
Cool. And as far as this work here that we have on the screen, what are you? Does this use AI? And tell us about this work that you. What are you doing in this? There's some old computers. Is this AI? What are you up to in this work?
Esto es AI, y bueno, contarle un poco de esta obra.
Bueno, esta obra es un poco como una no sé, una referencia a la computadora con todo lo que me da y todo lo que le estoy volcando creativamente en ella como...
To him, this is like a reference to the computer and everything the computer
Todo lo
gives
que hago
him.
todo el día.
Like all his imaginary around the computer is in here.
Y esta obra está hecha con Stable Diffusion,
It's a Stable Diffusion.
donde tengo la mezcla de dos estilos, como por un lado la parte 3D,
And he's
mezclada con
mixing
las obras viejas, las primeras que hice con
two
3D.
styles, like 3D.
with AI.
Yeah.
Claro.
And it's actually 3D mixing like his old style with something else.
Sí, como que tengo ganas de volver a hacer algo más como si fuera ilustración, como esto, pero en realidad, o pintura digital, pero empezar a mezclar y que sea más confusa la línea entre qué es, si es 3D, si es
Yeah, he
ilustración,
wants to
si es pintura.
blur the line among digital painting and
Sí,
3D.
como,
Yeah.
que no se entienda, mientras más raro todo, mejor.
Yeah, he likes it weird. Like,
Yeah.
the weirder the better.
You sure do. Some of the works on Instagram are, next level weird in a great way. And music's pretty important for you. Like, you're a psychedelic trance person, or no? Sí, yeah. Yes. No, I used to DJ Goa trance 20 years ago. Hilariously. Anyways, so. Do you have a question for Sulkian?
I think we've been like talking and meeting a lot with Sulkian. I don't know if it's a question, just like a huge admiration for everything he does. I think he's such a curious, like he's always hungry for, new devices, new techniques, new technologies. Like his mind is always like, it feels like it's going to 1,000 kilometers per hour. So just like admiration, man, like amazing work.
Yeah, and when did you, just a final question, as far as when did you start with digital? Like, were you already making art before, and then with blockchain, you moved to digital? Like, how did you get started making digital art?
¿Cuándo empezaste con el digital? ¿Si fue a través de la blockchain? ¿Cuando empezaste con blockchain empezaste a hacer digital o ya venías de antes?
No, yo en realidad hacía pintura o hacía como algunos objetos, como tratando de hacer algo artístico.
He was doing traditional painting and some objects.
Al mismo tiempo hacía algunos GIFs,
He made some GIFs.
pintura digital, pero en el 2021 cuando apareció Gen,
With
ahí
Gen.
me metí con todas, así como de una.
Yeah,
Y
he
me
really
saqué-
got into digital with Gen.
Y ahí full digital todo el tiempo y ahora con la impresora 3D y estoy como volviendo a lo físico desde otro lugar y bueno, con ganas ahí de empezar a crear objetos, instalación y...
Yeah, and he's coming back to physicals now that he has a 3D printer.
Cool.
He really wants to go back to physical objects, installations, and all of that.
And maybe printing out a painting, perhaps.
Imprimir una pintura.
Sí, con relieves y...
Yeah, with textures and all of that.
Awesome. Well, thanks, Sulkian. Just an absolute pleasure to meet you. Just awesome. Great. Okay, so the tour continues. And then there's Mote MT is who this looks like, Major Master Builder. I think is Mote here? That looks like Mote.
Mote is here.
Yeah. Come on down. Hey, Mote. Great to see you. So awesome. Always interesting, kind of beautiful paintings. Always touching is how I'd describe your work. So tell us, what's going on in this work here, Major Master Builder? It's like a guy who looks like he's building a construction like a building. What's going on in this work?
En este trabajo lo que traigo son varios guiños, como siempre en mi obra. Me gusta traer un poco de eso. Y en esta prácticamente bastante textual, con el título lo digo, ¿no? Maestro Mayor de Obra. Es un trabajo que hace acá la clase obrera. Y me parecía bueno ligarlo con el concepto de la muestra.
Yeah, he mentions that he always likes to reference different things on his artworks, and for this artwork in particular, he wanted to reference, like he mentions, it's very explicit. It's the working class. The name of the piece is Major Master Works, Builder, which is in Spanish is Maestro Mayor de Obras, which is like someone who builds houses and stuff. So he felt it was very related with these collection topics. Yeah,
it's super cool. And so how long have you been making art? Like, did you start on the blockchain, or were you always drawing before you got to digital? Tell us, how did you get started making art?
Creo que empecé a hacer arte como a los 12, 13 años.
Like 12 or 13.
Mi primer encuentro fue con el graffiti, haciendo firmas. Después de eso estuve un par de años haciendo muralismo, donde empecé con el figurativo.
Yeah, figurative muralism then.
Pero principalmente empecé en la pintura digital con lo mismo que Juli cuando conocí Gen y cuando entré a Tesos. Me motivé mucho más con el ecosistema y prácticamente desde ahí no paré con la pintura digital.
Yeah, and once he arrived to Hen and Tesos, it really got him motivated to do more digital work. So, since then he didn't stop to do digital artworks.
Amazing. And do you make physical still, or are you like a lot of us? Like even me, I would love to make physical, but it's hard to do physical when you have digital, which is just free. Like Quilla was saying, you just load it up, it's ready to go, no preparation necessary. Are you still making physical work? Or?
Sí, hago trabajos físicos, no tanto como antes. Lo uso más para divertirme, para relajarme, para disfrutarlo. Pero me parece mucho más práctico pintar en el iPad. Hoy que lo tengo, me parece más cómodo. Así que casi siempre pinto digital.
Yeah, he says that he still does physicals, not as much as before, but now it's like a thing he does just out of joy if he has to do a physical.
Right.
But he prefers to just it's faster, digital, it's easier, it's more friendly device, I guess.
And the people in your paintings, is that you in a sense? Like it seems like it's a picture of you, and it always seems to be this kind of young, almost like a young man's struggle to a certain degree, in different kind of variations of that. Did you do the ship work too way back when with that great ship that was in the storm?
En realidad no soy yo, pero sería como un estereotipo a la persona que represento, que es como una clase social en general de acá del país.
Yeah, he mentions that it's not like him exactly, but through his characters, he wants to represent a very specific social class from Argentina. So he feels like he's speaking,
Personalmente, casi siempre pinto experiencias un poco transgiversadas, pero por ejemplo, esa pintura que vos decís en la que estoy navegando, navegué.
Yeah, he says that usually he on the topics of his artworks they are related with actual like his real life experiences.
Right.
He actually has been a sailor of like
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, he has like the super exciting life. Actually, yeah.
Cool. And so just finally, final question. So what's next as far as, are you going to keep making digital paintings? Do you have a series or anything that you're working on specifically?
Sí, en lo que estoy trabajando.
En lo que está trabajando ahora, alguna serie.
Estoy trabajando en una colección para AVAX que me ofreció una residencia. Estoy con algunos artistas amigos y ahora estoy enfocándome en eso. Un par de obras y otros trabajos en paralelo, pero más personales.
Yeah, he's doing a couple of works for AVAX. AVAX called him to do an art. It's like a residency, like an art residency among other friends and artists. So he's working on a couple of pieces about that, and also keep working on other artistic endeavors of Mote.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Mote. The beautiful work as usual, and awesome to meet you. Too much fun. Too much fun. All right.
It's fun indeed.
And so, and I think, so here's one we haven't seen. Caribe,
yeah.
final works here, water games, and a cool kind of illustration here. Cool colors.
Yeah, she's so easy to identify her works. Amazing artist too. I think from... Yeah, she's the Powerful Mamacitas founder.
A powerful Mamacitas founder.
It's also kind of like a collective too. Like, yeah.
And where are they based? Are they out of Argentina as well?
They are from Central America.
Central America.
Venezuela.
Cool. Panama. Yeah, awesome. Water games. And there's
And it's nice because like she put like this green background. We were talking with the BTV guys, and they mentioned like orange and green. They look like so good, and some people like really like oh, I will try that, because I want to see how green actually looks in these devices.
It went really well.
It really catches the eye that
I guess
it's physical.
Complementary colors. Yeah, the physical was amazing too in the show. And finally, Ludmilla Pan. Here, diversity builds ecosystems. And awesome abstract here.
More like a symbolic, also maybe speaking about collective.
Yeah.
In a more symbolic way.
And really cool, beautiful gradient there in the background. Diversity builds ecosystem is the title. So almost a symbol for this entire show here and the connections here. And here we've seen Simulacro, we've seen...
I think we got them all, right?
I think that's it. We have seen everything.
Yeah.
So then I think we have, finally, as we're starting to wrap up here, what do we have next, Vols?
We'll have a little clip, one more clip, and then we will make the wrap up exactly.
Perfect.
Siempre Bosque Gracia fue un lugar creativo. En este territorio nos toca también conectarlo de una manera muy vivencial y presente con la naturaleza. Y es el pulso de siempre recibir artistas.
Me encontré con un montón de artistas que están en la misma que yo y que estamos como tirando para el mismo lado, y todo eso junto en un paraíso de paisaje y medio aislado de la urbanización.
Es una experiencia re loca compartir con un montón de gente y también muy fresco al mismo tiempo. Todo es nuevo todo el tiempo, todo es distinto, diferente. Te saca de tu lugar de comodidad, pero también te pone en otros lugares donde no te conocías antes.
Bueno, en principio eso, el acceso a una nueva tecnología que está ahí en ciernes, pero que de algún modo interpretamos que es lo que ya está sucediendo. Entonces seguir explorándola, seguir incursionando a nivel tecnológico y a nivel artístico, humano, haciendo crecer las redes y las posibilidades.
Okay, everybody. So that's a wrapper. Thank you so much. Thank you to everybody who has joined us today, to the whole collective, all the fam, all the friends. Thank you to our amazing team who makes these productions possible. Everybody worked so hard for so long, and we are just thrilled to be able to keep doing this. I hope we can keep doing this for a long time. And finally, thank you so much, Adrian, for being here. Again, it's surreal, it's amazing, it's an honor to have you here. So thank you so much for having this special show, Artist Journal, special edition by Newtro, here with Adrian Pocobelli. Thank you. So a big round of applause for everybody. For Adrian.
Thank you, and huge honor, and AV people, everybody, what a professional situation you guys have created here, and Bosque Gracias, what an awesome video we just saw there, and just everybody, it's such a thrill to meet everybody here, and what a friendly, awesome crowd. So thank you, everybody.
Yay.
Thank you, Bulls.
Thank you so much,
It was just it was an honor here as well.
It has been a pleasure. So let's we'll have a barbecue now and party.
Off to the barbecue. All right. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Bye. Bye.